While Miami and Ole Miss has drawn a lot of intrigue for on and off the field reasons, I think the real intriguing story of the semifinals, and that is a really good game, by the way, I want to focus in on Indiana and Oregon. The impressive 2-year run of Indiana, and then, of course, the building of this Oregon program to where it has been. They've played in the national championship game before, but can they get back there again? What's their future, where they have been? That is the breakdown of Indiana, Oregon, as you get prepared for Friday night's semifinal game. That's what we got covered for you here. Hit the subscribe button if you would. If you've not subscribed, it's free. Help keep it free. Hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you joining us. So, the Peach Bowl in Atlanta is a site for Indiana and Oregon. Both were dominant in their quarterfinal victories. Indiana dominating Alabama, Oregon shutting out Texas Tech. This game's a rematch of Week 7. Indiana, if you don't remember, went on the road in Austin and beat Oregon 30-20. So they're trying to advance to the Hoosiers or to their first national championship in program history. Well, Oregon, as I mentioned, has played for one, 2014. What are the key breakdowns on this game that we need to focus in on? A couple of things. Can Indiana's offensive line hold up more in this game? The pass game against Oregon's pass defense is going to be pivotal. When Indiana won its first matchup against Oregon, it wasn't the best outing for Fernando Mendoza. He's played great most of the year, won the Heisman Trophy, but his passing grade was below 50%. Second worst of the season. He had no big-time throws and a bad pick six in this game. Indiana's offensive line did him no favors in this game. They posted their second worst pass blocking grade of the season. The Oregon Ducks dialed up more blitzes than usual in that game, sending extra rushers over 40% of the time in this game. It was uncharacteristically a poor performance by Mendoza under duress. His passer rating, 71% grade under pressure this season, was the best among the Power 4 quarterbacks, while his 85% passing grade when blitzed is 8th in the entire nation. Indiana's hoping that the red-hot performance against an Alabama team that's not as good as Oregon, the carryover from that game will go into this game and not be a repeat of the first matchup. The other part I want to look at on that side of the ball is Indiana's run game against Oregon's run defense. They didn't run the football very efficiently on the ground than they did in their first matchup. They've been dominating, Indiana has, on the ground all season long. As a team, they're 9th in FBS rushing grade, 4th in run blocking grade. They're also coming off a really dominant effort, as I alluded to, against Alabama. They rushed for 237 yards and broke 9 tackles. However, Oregon held Indiana to one of the least efficient rushing days of the season. Indiana earned a season-low 59% rushing grade, averaging just 3.3 yards a carry in the first meeting. They struggled to work past defensive tackles Bear Alexander and Amari Washington. Failed to gain at least 15 yards on any of their 36 carries. Oregon allowed the second lowest rate of explosive runs in the nation. So Indiana is going to need to take advantage of those opportunities that they were not able to take advantage of in the first game. In short, this Oregon defense is for real. I don't think people, in all the talk about the matchup, this Oregon defense can get after the passer and they can defend the run. Their blitz package is very difficult to handle. So it's going to be about, even though Indiana won the game, is how much can Indiana improve? Now, let's go to the other side of the ball. Oregon's passing game against Indiana's pass defense. Indiana's secondary is excellent in how they play, how they leverage. Dante Moore's deep passing game, how effective will he be against his secondary? He's got the second highest passing grade because he leads the FBS with 98% passing grade on 20-plus yard targets. He leads the nation in passing touchdowns, adjusted completion percentage, big-time throw rate. He's a big-time playmaker as a passer. Indiana does a fantastic job of limiting deep completions all year. The Hoosiers held more to just one deep completion, his lone touchdown pass of the game in the first matchup when these two teams played. Indiana owns just the fourth best coverage grade in the nation defending the deep ball, allowing just 13 deep completions all year. So you see where I'm going with this. Big-time playmaking, deep ball threat versus a really good pass-defending, deep ball routes that they have done a phenomenal job, strength versus strength. So will Moore being able to manufacture scoring drives if Indiana takes away the explosive shots? Can they be a little more patient and play a little bit better incrementally and not be as reliant on the deep ball? Or will they have more success with the deep ball? And that is going to be directly correlated to how well Oregon runs the football, which is where I want to go next. Oregon's run game against Indiana's run defense. Oregon's got an elite running game. Can they run the football better than they did against Indiana in the first matchup? Oregon's got one of the best rushing attacks in college football. They're really amongst the top 5 in the country in terms of overall run game grades. It's 94, 95% most of the year. It's one of the best offensive lines in the country, if not the best. But it has a trio of outstanding backs in Noah Whittington, Jordan Davidson, De'Ara Hill Jr., but they couldn't get as much movement or success running the football against this Indiana elite run defense in their first matchup. Their efficiency per average per run in that game was the third worst mark of the season. Oregon ran for only 116 yards. It was the only game all year where the Ducks failed to rush for a touchdown. Oregon's backs need to do a better job of breaking tackles. They combined for just 3 forced missed tackles on 24 attempts. So the backs, as talented as they are, I just mentioned who they are, Whittington, Davidson, Hill, are going to have a really good game and break some tackles. They have to have some after-contact yardage and avoidance yardage. This is going to be a really interesting matchup. I lean Indiana here, and I only do it because I think it's a close game, and it really wouldn't surprise me if Oregon won it. But I lean Indiana because I do think they are a little bit better at playing button-up football, not making intermental errors, not missing opportunities. I think in a game that's very close, it's going to be just discipline. Both teams are disciplined, but who's a little bit better at being functional in pivotal moments? It has been Indiana. Both defenses played well in the first game. Both quarterbacks are going to have their hands full trying to figure out how can they play better. Because I'm going to tell you, quarterback play did not decide the first game. As I said, Fernando Mendoza did not win the Heisman Trophy in that game against Oregon. He didn't play well against Oregon. Oregon got the better of him. But Indiana's defense also got the better of Dante Moore and Oregon's offense. So what quarterback, if any, is going to step up and play appreciably better than they did in that first game is likely going to decide that. Indiana doesn't really have any legitimate weaknesses. They continue to get better and better. They continue to play with an edge about them. Now, Oregon's going to take that and say, yeah, everybody's talking about Indiana. They're the story. Everybody expects Indiana to win, and nobody expects us. They're going to play that up and see if it's to their advantage. But I think this is good versus good, strength versus strength, and it's going to be an outstanding matchup. So appreciate you joining us as always. Hit that subscribe button. Keep this podcast free. We always appreciate you joining us here and over at LandryFootball.com as well. Check us out next time as we'll be breaking it all down. Got the NFL playoff matchups as well coming up. So keep it here as well as at LandryFootball.com and hit that subscribe button, share and like as well.